more clarity we have of our financial operating systems, the better, right? So what's really important, what we like about Quanta Pay is, its ability to integrate, ability to be seamless. I think it's going to help us with our staffing model. I think there's a lot of benefits to a scaling organization that we're excited about.
Trevor Maurer, we were just sitting here before we went live, and you said, "What's the name of this podcast?" And I said, "The Zero Balance Podcast," and you chuckled a little bit.
I love it.
And so we love people with a sense of humor. You've always had a great one. Welcome to the podcast.
Good to be here. Thanks. Happy to be here. Where's Cromanhawk? He's not here.
Cromanhawk just set these up,
Man.
which is totally good.
If I come back, I want him on the next one with me.
Okay, that's a deal. Dicom 2025, we're here. Crazy to think. And for anybody that does not know you, the CEO of OMS360, a very exciting, growing oral surgery group. Love to have you kind of talk a little bit about it and some of the things you guys are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we started a little over 3 years ago. I had the pleasure of being the founding CEO, and our financial sponsor is Shore Capital out of Chicago and Nashville. Yep. A lot of healthcare deals, one of the best microcap private equity funds in the world from a returns perspective. So not just saying that, based on data. Mm-hmm. They started 84 companies with folks like me, and this is the 34th one. OMS360 was their 34th investment as a platform.
Love it. So what was it about the oral surgery space or building an oral surgery group that got you excited?
I think what got me excited is oral surgery is typically the last stop on a patient journey. If you come to us, it's because something's failed along the way, typically, right? And so it's very gratifying to work with a group of very confident individuals that are able to deliver an outcome that others maybe couldn't deliver or didn't want to deliver, right? But based upon what they went to school for and their love of the business and the industry, they deliver the ultimate value to the patient.
Yeah. And how has it been, I guess the better question is, as you've continued to grow this and build the community, throughout the organization, how has that been helpful for all the oral surgeons? I mean, oral surgeons that I've known over the years, like you mentioned, very specialized, very independent in a lot of ways, are kind of that end part of the journey. What are some things you have done to kind of build the community so that they're all, learning from each other, working with each other, anything along those lines?
Yeah, that's a good question. So if you back up and even think about the psyche of an oral surgeon, like super confident, most of their life, they've been the smartest person in the room, right? You think about the top 1%ers. And so it's pretty hard for them to say, man, I wonder what Paul would tell me to do here.
That's what I wanted to ask.
Right? I'd love to get someone else's opinion, right? In fact, I was about a year into the business, and I just remained shocked that I didn't feel like any oral surgeon had BS'd me even one time yet, right? And that, you can't say that about all healthcare models.
Yeah.
And so I asked this person, and his answer was simple. I'm like, why is nobody lying to me? Or if I say something that's maybe financially technical, they don't understand it, they say, hey, explain what you just said, versus just kind of going with it and, BSing along the way. And he said, it's easy, it's rounds. You cannot lie in rounds. You can't make it up. You get crucified in rounds if you don't say, I don't know, or you better know what it is. Right? So it's a very unique set of operators in terms of their intellect, their confidence, their vision, but also what people don't, I think about oral surgeons is their level of care. Mm-hmm. Like their desire to help is 10x what I've seen. Like that's why they do it. They want the ball. All right?
Yeah.
So fascinating group.
Years ago, when I was living in Los Angeles, I heard a post-game interview with Kobe, and something came up like about his ego, like wanting the ball. And I remember he said, okay, now if you're a true Lakers fan and there's 7 seconds left on the clock, who do you want to have the ball? And he was explaining how he had to have that type of attitude. They're depending on him. And so to your point, when I think about a patient going to an oral surgeon and a lot of the work that they do, especially like you mentioned, it is kind of that last stop to make sure that, things are, if they've tried everything they possibly can, a lot of that falls on their shoulders. So
the last thing I want as a patient at the last stop is a surgeon says to me, well, we got a number of options. Which one do you want to do, Trevor? I'm like, I have no idea. Like, you're the expert.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been fun. So the other thing I learned building an oral surgery business is if you don't have data to back it up, they're not going to listen. They're evidence-based learners. It's the way they were educated. Their job is to find the problem and solve it. So what our organization, OMS360, is guiding them to do, they're automatically going to try to figure out what's wrong with what we're saying, right? And it wasn't until we took a very data-driven approach with literally industrial engineers mapping out their clinic in terms of what we call project pathway, right? To really identify what their operating system is. Are they practicing at the top of their license? Are they using their license? Are they doing things that don't require a license, right? And then showing them the data that they maybe had no idea their practice ran this way because they're not everywhere at the same time. So, what's the staff journey? What's the patient journey? What's the surgeon journey? We present all that and make recommendations on if you want to have a more productive practice, if you want to see more patients, if you want to do more X type of surgery, or if you want to go home earlier, this is all you have to do, right? And that data-driven approach is why, our whole business has grown 50% organically since partnership with these practices because of our OMS360 operating system and being maniacally focused on the 6 phases of the patient journey, from patient access, how do they find us? 92% referral, 8% direct to consumer, but there's buckets in there of what that looks like, right? To scheduling, how are they scheduled? Like, is there a template or not? What's it look like? To what work are we doing pre-appointment to be ready? Because we'd love almost every procedure to be same day. Like, would you rather come to my practice twice or once?
Once.
Take 2 days off or 1 day off?
1 day.
Right? Get a driver twice, right? All that stuff. So pre-appoint. And then what happens in the actual consult? What's the actual surgery look like? Which is only one of the 6 steps. And then revenue cycle management, which I'm sure we're going to talk about today, right? That last step has to be thought of in the first step.
Talk a little bit about, speaking of that, revenue cycle management in an oral surgery office, and what are some of the things that are important, and then we'll get into kind of the technology side of, I know you've been doing some evaluation with Quanta and the like or whatever, but I think before we get there, what is important on the RCM side in oral surgery practice?
I think what's really important is communication and accuracy to the patient of what this is going to look like. And also, unlike general dentistry, if I go to the oral surgeon and I get my issue resolved, I'm not coming back. If I don't get it resolved, I still might not come back. So if I don't pay before the procedure, I'm probably not going to pay. Why would I? It's a one-time deal. I'm not going to get my wisdom teeth out multiple times.
Yeah.
So it's really important that patient has an expectation of out-of-pocket or what's going to come back from payer, and we're ready to be very definitive on that at the moment.
Yeah.
Very hard business to collect in after the procedure.
The other thing too, as you know, Trevor, is the patient experience. I feel like, us as we're all patients / consumers, we interact with businesses now with all this different technology, and a lot of these companies have made it so easy for us to pay. And so I know that that's been a super important thing in dentistry, that patients are coming in now, right? And that they're assuming that a practice operates that and gives them that same type of flow like they would have in any other business.
Yeah, there's a base level, and obviously there's consumer choice in healthcare more than ever before, so they're going to go to what's most convenient for them.
Yeah.
Once the playing field is leveled on projected good outcome.
Yeah. So what have you seen, speaking of the Quanta suite and some of the work that you've done, like what are some things that kind of that last piece of the puzzle that you're talking about that you've been impressed with and that have more importantly kind of been helpful as you look to grow, especially because I know you're not going to stay at how many practices you have now?
Yeah. So we'll couple years, certainly crossed 100 surgeons. So it's going to become more complex. So the more clarity we have of our financial operating systems, the better, right? So what's really important, what we like about QuantaPay is, its ability to integrate, ability to be seamless. I think it's going to help us with our staffing model. I think there's a lot of benefits to a scaling organization that we're excited about.
Speaking of staffing, anything that you guys, is that something that you've been battling? What are some ways that you've addressed it? If you haven't had to battle it, that's amazing. We hear that a lot in dentistry right now. Maybe it's a little bit different with kind of where you are with your practices.
Yeah, I don't think it's been tough for us lately. We have relatively high employee net promoter scores. It's a great place to work. We continuously get feedback from new partners, teams, that their work life has been improved, right? There's more investment in training and clarity and ability to work with them and, different benefits, et cetera. So we've been able to recruit. I think our four-wall vacancy rate is running less than 3.5%, which is great. Time to fill is pretty quick. Most are filled in 2 weeks. So we got some good partners in recruiting. Obviously, we focus on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's really important to deliver that value to our partners. But I know the world went remote for COVID. I spent a lot of time in my career remote. I don't love it. I don't love running a company that's remote. I want to see you, right? I want to see the team collaborate. Yeah. I love it when people are standing around talking to other people's desks because they're getting things done. They're building relationships as well. Like if they're spending time talking about their dog or sports over the weekend, that's awesome because when push comes to shove and they need something done, they're gonna know more about that person's background and what's reasonable and how can I help them, how can they help me. So I'm taking staffing maybe in a different direction, but I like technology and staffing that's centralized.
Yeah. So 3 years ago, I don't know if you remember this, you and I were at a meeting together, and I remember when you were first starting this thing. And so first off, congrats on the growth. It's been exciting to watch it. I do remember kind of watching your wheels spinning back then of the opportunity of what I know you believed in could be possible. When you look back over the last 3 years, what are a couple of things that you've learned just about yourself professionally and about building this?
Startups are tough, right? I don't think I learned that. I knew that. Right. But I think, I know with unwavering certainty that enhancing productivity and organic growth of a business is the holy grail in a startup or in a business. Rack and stack buying businesses and throwing them together is way over. That's done. And we don't want to talk to any surgeons that aren't interested in change, growth, or improvement. Because, John, when's the last time you sought out an investment where the CEO said, this company's not going to change. We're not going to watch the industry. We're not going to lead. We're just going to stay right here. Would you make that investment?
No.
Right? And there's a lot of DSOs for anybody that's looking at doing a partnership. You want to make sure that you're aligned. You might want to not make any changes. So there's a DSO out there that will say, hey, we're not going to make any changes. That's fine. And they'll probably do okay. And there's many out there that will say, hey, we're gonna work hard to improve your practice. It's gonna be disruptive. Some of your staff's gonna quit, and if you don't want that, then we're not the right partner, and that should be okay. Yeah. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of DSOs. Yeah. You should be able to find who's the right partner for you. Yeah. Alignment is, I think the other thing that I've learned, and our founding board member, Dr. Bob Clark, he's the incoming president of AMOS. He loves saying, man, alignment's the private equity word, right? Like we say alignment so much because if you don't have team, doctor, operating executive team, and PE sponsor alignment, you're just going to be struggling the whole time.
What's important for all of you, the clinicians, and everybody that's a part of the organization?
Sorry.
What's that? Oh, you're good. From a vendor perspective, right? I mean, you know this, you can appreciate this. You're a company that you have a technology, you have a product, you want to work with an OMS360 and things like that. What are some things you all look for when you're working with a company that's important for them to make sure that they're providing for you guys, particularly as you grow?
How are you going to help me scale? How will you help me scale and enhance the margins, right? It's rare that we get in discussions for how much less can you charge us for this? It's how can you demonstrate a return? How can you be a valued partner that helps us grow our business and makes life better for our patients, ultimately our surgeons and their teams.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that has tended to be kind of something over the years with DSOs, right? From a vendor perspective, is that a company may have to lower their prices substantially, right, to even have a shot. but it really does seem like, you know, when you think about it, helping you all scale and the way that they can do that with their tech or their product is cornerstone for where you guys are going.
Yeah, I'd rather have a partner, you know, focus their resources on ways that we can grow our business. Because we strip it all out of pricing. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all for best pricing.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
But if we strip away their ability to support the business, it's going to fail.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you excited about when you look out the next 3 to 5 years of dentistry?
I'm excited that I think the providers are understanding that DSOs aren't an exit. DSOs are an enhancement. Right? I think the ones that are doing a great job are really providing better value to their doctors.
Awesome. Trevor, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
The Quanta team
Great to see you
appreciates you. Yeah, it's good to see you as always, and enjoy the rest of Dykema.
Thank you. You too.
All right, you got it.